Seneca has said, "Anyone who befriends others solely for personal gain will not sustain a long-lasting friendship. A friendship that begins with something will end with that same thing. If it starts with self-interest, it will end when that interest fades. Those who want others to help them escape are often the very ones who will shackle themselves first. Such a relationship is more akin to a raft than a true friend. Friendships based on benefit last only as long as the benefits are fulfilled. This is why we often see wealthy individuals surrounded by friends, but as soon as misfortune strikes, these friends vanish without a trace. They leave at the very moment they have the opportunity to prove the value of their friendship. This brings us to the heart of our discussion today, the importance of saying no to certain types of people, not out of malice, but out of a profound understanding that sometimes, despite our best efforts, change comes from within, and no external force can ignite the will to transform. Remember that it is not a judgment but a practice of Stoic discernment. One, people cloaked in self-made illusions. There exist individuals who ensnare themselves within the intricate webs of their own fabrications. Such self-deception stands in stark contrast to the Stoic counsel of confronting our reality with unflinching candor. Marcus Aurelius, a sage of Stoicism, once proclaimed, "Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look." Yet, those lost in illusions are adept at burying their flaws beneath layers of denial, neglecting the Stoic virtue of growth through acknowledgement of one's errors. The core issue with self-deceivers lies in their unwavering belief in their personal fictions, which blinds them to the perceptions of others. They fail to recognize that our minds can be master illusionists, painting our perceptions with the hues of our emotions rather than the clear light of reality. Frequently, their intentions are not malevolent. They are merely prisoners of their own self-deceptive practices. Perhaps a tumultuous past or a yearning for acceptance has skewed their vision, prompting them to weave a solace-laden alternate reality. The task of aiding them is formidable, for they have fortified their psyche with ramparts of denial. One might endeavor to enlighten them with truths as evident as the globe's roundness, yet they would retort with flat earth logic. Even when presented with irrefutable facts, they contort them to align with their distorted worldview. Transformation is possible only when they awaken to the discrepancies in their reasoning, a realization that often necessitates the intervention of psychological expertise. 2. Opportunists. In the realm of human interaction, the ability to deeply understand others is not just rare, but a reflection of profound empathy, a quality greatly valued by Stoics, who advocate for a compassionate view of the world, free from harsh judgment. Yet caution is advised, for there are those who might exploit such noble kindness. These opportunists masquerade as friends, only to take advantage of your good nature. How can you discern their true intentions? Observe their actions. Genuine friends seek assistance in genuine need, whereas opportunists frequently solicit favors, often for tasks within their own capability. Beware of those skilled in the art of guilt-tripping. Initially, they flatter you, claiming you're an exceptional friend followed by a favor request. While it's natural to seek help, opportunists have a pattern of constant requests, disregarding your time and commitments. The tragedy lies in the guilt they impose on you for contemplating refusal. Despite numerous rescues, they remain unchanged, secure in the belief that there will always be someone to bail them out. It is wise to distance oneself from such individuals without remorse. As Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Do not be swayed by imagined obligations. Focus on your own promises and responsibilities. 3. People who only think of themselves. In the life, some individuals move to the rhythm of self-interest, their thoughts orbiting around a personal universe. When you're talking about how bad the traffic has become in your city, this type of person might say traffic isn't a problem just because they haven't faced any issues. And when you share something good, like news about a new job, they might overshadow your joy by talking about how unhappy they are with their own job. Their presence seems to dim the light of your joy, substituting it with the shadow of their grievances. As you step into the limelight, they usurp the stage, steering the narrative towards their emotional landscape. Your sentiments, your perspectives are brushed aside. Would you stand by such a friend? And if so, do you possess the conviction to urge a change in their solipsistic script? To foster a broader empathy? Marcus Aurelius, a sage of Stoicism, once said, "Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize?" In this reflection lies the power to either hold space for transformation or to recognize when to retreat for your own growth. For in the pursuit of betterment, the unwillingness of one to evolve can anchor down the aspirations of another. Sometimes wisdom whispers the need to step back from those who dwell in the confines of self. 4. Individuals resistant to acknowledging errors. There exists a certain breed of individuals who staunchly refuse to acknowledge their errors, a trait that betrays an absence of introspection and humility. As the Stoics would assert, he who conceals his transgressions does not prosper, but he who confesses and forsakes them finds mercy. This wisdom rings true for those who deflect blame with unwavering consistency, attributing mishaps to misfortune rather than personal oversight. The imperative to recognize and learn from one's missteps cannot be overstated. Such individuals seldom pause to consider the ramifications of their actions, remaining oblivious to the ripples they create in the lives of others. When faced with adversity, their instinct is not to look inward but to cast aspersions outward. They operate under the delusion that their choices exist in a vacuum, or perhaps, more troublingly, they exhibit a flagrant disregard for the fallout. Assistance is futile for those who refuse the very notion of fault. Their mantra is a persistent denial. It was not I. Efforts to cultivate humility within them may prove fruitless, for they are adept at evading responsibility. Whether it's academic failure or a vehicular mishap, the blame is invariably placed elsewhere. The instructor's inadequacy, the whims of the weather, the demands of their occupation. The question looms: can transformation occur in the absence of self-accountability? It may be prudent to withdraw. Persistence in the face of obstinate denial yields little fruit and may drain one's own resources. They often resort to chronic grievances, potentially ensnaring others in their dissent. A strategic retreat is advisable, allowing oneself the space to thrive, unencumbered by their resistance. 5. People who don't plan ahead envision a dear friend, endowed with remarkable talents yet standing still in life's current, oblivious to the passage of time. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." This resonates when we witness potential untapped, a reminder that while savoring the present is vital, neglecting to craft a vision for tomorrow is to disregard the very essence of our being. True contentment blossoms when we employ our innate and honed abilities to elevate our existence. It's not a dearth of skill, but a myopic view confined to the immediate that hinders some. They possess multifaceted talents, yet the key lies not in acquiring new skills but in mobilizing existing ones towards a future they've yet to embrace. Often, the catalyst they require is simply the impetus to act. Acknowledging one's capabilities is a step. The leap is to venture beyond the comfort of assistance and to kindle the flames of self-reliance. Without this shift, progress stalls and stagnation prevails. The Stoics upheld the pursuit of a flourishing life as virtuous, cautioning that without purpose, we become susceptible to the shadows of distress such as the pervasive anxiety of our times. For those who seek the zenith of fulfillment and wisdom as the Stoics did, signal your intent for enlightenment. Comment below with, "I have a plan," and embark on the path to actualizing your latent potential. 6. Those stuck on life's negatives. Life is not what happens to us but how we react to it, said Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher. This sentence, reminding us that perspective is everything. In the life, some individuals perpetually fixate on the somber tunes, neglecting the harmonious melodies that also play. The Stoics with their emphasis on equanimity and gratitude even in adversity, would find such a viewpoint limiting. Acknowledging life's spectrum of experiences is crucial for mental equilibrium. While negative emotions are part of the human condition, an obsessive focus on the dark strips life of its color. This habitual pessimism breeds a cycle of discontent, obscuring the splendor that life offers. Engaging with chronic pessimists can be as futile as Sisyphus's eternal struggle. Their litany of woes is inexhaustible, and their gloom can tarnish even the brightest of spirits. The modern echo chamber of distress, much like the news cycle's penchant for the grim, can entrap those who revel in their grievances. They may not seek solutions, but rather the catharsis of complaint. Their identity becomes intertwined with their struggles, and the absence of such may leave them adrift. Encountering such pervasive negativity, one must consider the futility of intervention. Is it possible to illuminate a mind that clings to the shadows? Perhaps it is wiser to conserve one's vitality for those who seek the light. The path to positivity is a personal journey, and while we may offer a map, we cannot walk the road for them. In time, it is hoped that they will discover the Stoic truth, that serenity comes not from the absence of problems, but the resilience to face them with a tranquil heart. Until then, let us invest our energies in fertile grounds where the seeds of our efforts can flourish. For in the end, we must guard our own tranquility lest we become the very thing we sought to mend. 7. Individuals who think it's never their fault. In the life, some individuals perpetually step on others' toes, yet they blame the rhythm, not their own missteps. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This wisdom reminds us that personal growth begins with listening to our inner selves, not the cacophony of external blame. When faced with adversity, they see not the mirror of self-reflection, but a window onto others' faults. They stand firm in the belief of their own perfection, blind to the possibility of error. They attribute loneliness to the failings of others, the cost of health to the economy, and professional rejections to conspiring forces. Yet the most profound teacher is experience itself. By stepping back, we allow life's lessons to unfurl before them, hoping they will eventually recognize the patterns of their own making. 8. Individuals expecting the world to favor them. There's a pervasive mindset among some individuals that the universe owes them favors simply because they exist. This sense of entitlement, where rewards and admiration are expected rather than earned, is at odds with Stoic wisdom. Stoicism advocates for a harmonious existence, where balance and meritocracy guide our interactions. Expecting the world to treat you fairly because you are a good person is a little like expecting the bull not to attack you because you are a vegetarian. This quote, often attributed to Stoic thought, encapsulates the folly of such entitlement. Those with generous spirits may attempt to offer a different perspective to the entitled, but their efforts are frequently met with resistance or perceived as threats. The entitled often exploit the benevolence of others, especially if they believe their appearance warrants preferential treatment. When reality fails to align with their expectations, these individuals may respond with hurt, sometimes resorting to manipulation. It's a harsh lesson, but often, only by encountering a mirror of their own behavior, will they realize the necessity for change. 9. People who don't want to learn or change. He who laughs at himself never runs out of things to laugh at. Epictetus. Stoicism implores us to embark on a journey of self-discovery and continual self-improvement. Yet there exists a faction resistant to introspection and growth. Anchored in their ways, they frequently cast the blame outward for their tribulations. The challenge in aiding them is their reluctance to heed or embrace guidance. Take Joe, for instance, who deflects fault with unwavering consistency even when his errors are evident. Sarah, too, dismisses constructive criticism at work, steadfast in her belief that her methods are superior. Mike, plagued by persistent relationship woes, attributes his misfortunes to fate's failure in presenting the right partner, rather than reflecting on his own actions. Similarly, Linda's financial struggles persist, not because of her expenditure or saving habits, but in her view, due to her employer's inadequate compensation. By embodying these principles in our daily lives, we not only honor the wisdom of the Stoics but also pave the way for a life of profound meaning and alignment with the greater cosmos. It's about recognizing when to step back and allow natural processes to unfold, understanding the profound strength in forging genuine connections, and holding ourselves accountable for our actions. I encourage you to reflect on the types of people we've discussed today and consider how saying no might not just protect your peace, but also foster your personal growth and happiness. What steps will you take to integrate these Stoic teachings into your life? Share your thoughts and insights in the comments below, and let's continue to support each other on this journey towards wisdom. Remember, every step taken in awareness is a step towards a more fulfilled life.